Hello and greetings. This is biblical study concerning a question. This is biblical study 3 concerning the question why God allows so much suffering, troubles, and evil in the world. Biblical study part 3. When God first created heaven and earth and the first man and woman, there was no curses, troubles, and sufferings and evil in the world. The scripture teaches us that everything in the beginning at that time was good. Concerning that, Genesis chapter 1 verses 31 reads, "Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day." When we read Genesis chapter 1 verses 27 through 28 and verse 31 and chapter 3 verses 1 through 19, we can understand how God blessed the man and the woman and gave them free choice to keep his commandment or not keep his commandment, and punishment and curses if they did not keep his commandment and obey him. We can understand that temptation, deception, sin, evil, curses, and punishment did not come into the world until or after the serpent tempted and deceived the woman into touching and eating from the forbidden tree. When we read these scriptures, we can understand that temptation, sin, evil, and curses did not enter into the world until after the man heeded the voice of his wife and ate from the forbidden tree of knowledge of good and evil. I believe God allowed the serpent and the tree of knowledge of good and evil to be in the world to test the woman and the man to see if they would love him with all their heart, soul, and mind and do what he commands, or not love him with all their heart, soul, and mind and disobey him. For scripture reference concerning that, let us read Deuteronomy chapter 13, verses 1 through 4, Revelations chapter 2, verse 10, and chapter 3, verse 10. These scripture references are for what I said concerning why I believe God allowed the serpent and the tree of knowledge of good and evil to be in the world, which is to test the woman and the man to see if they would love him with all their heart, mind, and soul and do what he commands, or not love him with all their heart and mind and soul and disobey him. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verses 1 through 4. And it reads, "If there arises among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes to pass of which he spoke to you, saying, 'Let us go after other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them,' you should not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey him, his voice, and keep his commandment and obey his voice. That is, you shall serve him and hold fast to him. Revelations chapter 2. Excuse me. Revelations chapter 2. Verse 10 reads, "Do not fear any of those things which you're about to suffer. Indeed, the devil is about to throw some of you in prison, that you may be tested, and you will have tribulation 10 days. Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life." In chapter 3, Revelations chapter 3, verse 10, it reads, "Because you have kept my commandment to persevere, I also will keep you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth." This is the end of part 3, biblical study, concerning the question, why God allows so much suffering, troubles, and evil in the world.